Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Keith Poole, and I have a very special guest with me this afternoon, Charles Adebayo Bello, all the way from Nigeria, but he currently lives in the United Kingdom. Special guest, I've known Charles for a few years, but I'm going to let Charles introduce himself. We're doing a short broadcast this afternoon where Charles and I are going to be discussing yet again a few things on leadership that we think would be relevant to people that I know and to the people that Charles knows. So if you are watching us, I would encourage you to try and watch the full program. We will be live on Facebook and we are going live also on YouTube. So if you are able to share the program, just go to the share icon on Facebook and just share this across your platform as well. It will be very much appreciated so that many people can see and hear the discussion. So Charles, it's great to see you, sir. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine. I'm so excited to be here with you today, to be honest. And I look forward to a great time. Thank you so much for the honor to be here with you today.
Wonderful, Charles. Do you just want to give everybody a short introduction about who you are, where you're from, what you are currently doing? This guy is a very clever young man, so it'll be good for you to just let people know your background, a little bit about you, if you could.
Right, absolutely, Reverend. My name is Charles Adebayo Bello. I'm a doctoral researcher at the School of Health and Related Research, University of Sheffield. Yeah, I'm proud, a proud student of University of Sheffield here in the United Kingdom. I'm also from Nigeria, and I am so passionate about, my country. I want my country to be better. Reverend, I've been in community development for about 12 years now, and we carry out different projects at one point or the other. And also, I used to tell people my life is evolving. Right now, I'm a social entrepreneur. I'm also engaged in different humanitarian activities.
That sounds incredibly fascinating, Charles. Not that I understand all the ins and outs of what you do, because I don't. But it does. It sounds very interesting. Are you married? Do you have a family?
I do. I'm happily married to a beautiful woman. Her name is Oluwadara Bello, rather. Ni Olawale. And we have a lovely son. His name is Joseph Bello. So yes, I'm married to Dara Bello, and our son is Joseph.
Wonderful. How old is Joseph?
Joseph is about 2 years now. He's a little bit more than 2 years. He's an incredible guy. We thank God for his life. He's growing every day in the grace of God.
Wonderful, 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 wonderful. I'm just tagging you in the Facebook Live there, Charles, so it'll be on. There's quite a few people already watching, so that's great. Charles, it's wonderful to be here. So we're going to talk about leadership. Just so that people understand how I got to know Charles. It's a very long story, so I'll keep it quite brief. But I met Charles in Sheffield a couple of years ago at a place called Fountain of Life Christian Centre with Pastor Michael Pepala. I was doing some leadership training there, and Charles was one of the people attending the Saturday, and we chatted a little bit on the day itself, and then we got to know each other following the training. We've stayed friends, connected ever since. We've been to Nigeria together, to Lagos, Ilorin, Abomashow, Ibadan, the Redeemed headquarters. So yeah, I've travelled with Charles and a few of Charles' friends in Nigeria, and I must say I really enjoyed being there. It was a great experience, and looking forward to going back again. So it's great, Charles. Great to know you. It's great to be here with you. So,
Okay, thank you very
do you
much,
want to
Reverend.
start the conversation, Charles? I will hand over to you, and you can just throw some thoughts if you want to into the mix, and we can go from there.
Okay, thank you very much, Reverend. Today I'm so excited, like I said, to be here with you. And the moment, since I get to know you, you have always been talking about growth. You have always been talking about leadership, and I do appreciate the UK Lead UK event in February, where you brought John Maxwell, to the program. It was a great learning experience. Reverend, today I want to share, I want us to share about how leaders emerge. And the reason why we have to talk about this is because many people don't really identify the leadership in them. Like John Maxwell said, leadership is a calling, and Miles Murrow also said that Eden within everybody is that leadership, and everybody needs to discover that leadership. Everybody needs to understand that whoever they are, whatever they do, irrespective of the color of their skin, irrespective of their background, they are leaders in their areas of calling. So it is time for us to engage in this conversation and try to spread the news and try to engage, let everybody know or identify the leadership within them. So today I have just few questions to ask you so that it will be a great learning experience for us. And the first question to you, or let me say, okay, let me start with you introducing yourself, because I've introduced myself, but I've not actually heard your introduction. So let me give you the time to introduce yourself.
Okay, yeah, Keith Poole. I presently live in a village called Womben in the West Midlands of the UK, United Kingdom. Been married for 27 years to the same woman, which is always a plus. Three teenage daughters, and I've done lots of different things throughout my lifetime. But the common thread through everything for all since I was a teenager has been leadership and leadership development and growing as a person, and being a leader that God has called you to be. So what I do at the moment, I presently, during the lockdown, I'm doing a lot of live broadcasts such as this, but I generally do a lot of speaking, a lot of traveling, a lot of training, a lot of coaching around the UK, in Europe and in Africa. Like I said, I've been to Nigeria, Uganda. I'm there fairly frequently, 2 or 3 times a year. Also to Kenya. I lived in South Africa for 3 years, went to Bible college there, and I'm now part of the John Maxwell team, an executive director with him, and the founder of Lead UK, an organisation that seeks to develop leaders to transform their communities. Okay, it's great to be a leader, but we need to be a leader with purpose, and we need to look at transforming our spheres of influence. So whether that be families, workplaces, our churches, our environments, our universities, wherever that may be, that's what we need to be doing, and that's what I like to do. I like to work with people to equip them and help them grow, help them develop as leaders, really.
Thank you very much, Reverend. So that brought me to the question: what is leadership, and who is a leader?
Cool. This is a subject that you could talk on for hours. I'll keep it very brief because we don't want to do this broadcast for a long period of time. But what is leadership? Let me just say this, being a leader, all leaders are in the people business. So being a leader, if you have no one following you and you think you're a leader, you're not a leader. because we are in the people business. So it's all about working with people, and the definition that John Maxwell uses that I like is leadership is influence. So I like to say it's to get people to do the things that they may not do if you didn't influence them in the correct way. So we all know a lot of people we all influence people positively or negatively. But being a good leader is to influence people in a positive manner, to get them to do things that they may not have done without your help or assistance. And it's always to take people on a journey of growth. It's always to get people to improve as people. We were born with potential. And when God speaks to us, he speaks to us about our future, about our potential. He sees the potential in us today and what we could do. But there's so many people who never do what they could do because they don't believe in themselves. So a leader always seeks to help people tap into that potential and help them do what they can do and help them believe in themselves to do what they can do. Now, a lot of people say, are you born a leader? Well, as John Maxwell says, I've never seen a leader that's not born. All people are born. We're all born the same way. So are leaders born? Yes, they are, because we're all born. But I think what they really mean is, can we are people born leaders, and that's it? And I'd say, well, some people are gifted, and you see children when they're young, they're gifted with the ability to lead others. But having said that, all people can learn and become better in the area of leadership. Whether you are out and out gifted in that, we're all gifted in different ways. Compare myself and yourself, Charles. We're gifted in so many similar ways and yet so many different ways. But so all people are born leaders, but some people are born natural leaders. But I believe everybody can definitely learn and grow to become better leaders wherever they function, even in their homes, as I said, in all spheres of our life. So yes, we can definitely grow as leaders.
Absolutely, absolutely, Reverend. Thank you very much for sharing. And I had a thought as you are, describing who a leader is and what leadership is. And you said, leaders, all leaders are born. At one point I've heard that leaders are not born; they are made. Some say maybe leaders are, some leaders emerge, So really, the next question I would like to ask, is how does, or let me say, how do leaders emerge? How do leaders emerge? I'm a little bit unsettled right now, but I'm going to get it right. You understand? Because, I'm still growing into it and I'm making progress every day into it. So how do leaders emerge? How do leaders emerge? I've not been coming on live for a while now. So, but, how do leaders emerge?
The first thing I'd say in terms of the emergence of any person, and I say this, like you said at the beginning, leadership crosses all boundaries in life. So it doesn't matter the colour of your skin, it doesn't matter your gender, it doesn't matter what culture you come from, it doesn't matter what part of the world you come from, it doesn't matter even what religion you are. People are leaders because leadership is influence, and we can all influence someone. So first thing, we've got to get it out of our head that because I come from a certain country or because I have a certain background, then I cannot lead. I come from a background of being in a wheelchair until I was 7 years of age. I couldn't walk. I come from a background of a stutter. I stammered. I couldn't speak and communicate properly until I was in my 30s. So for some people that would become a limitation on their ability to lead. But there are always limitations that we will put on ourselves which stop us from leading. And quite often we have a mindset that limits us. So in terms of the emergence of new leaders, I would say this. The first thing we need to know is, what does a good leader look like? And what is the function that we're looking for, that we want the leader to perform? Yeah? Because if you don't know what a good leader is and what a good leader looks like, and you don't know what you're looking for in terms of leadership, then you'll fail at the first hurdle. Because you need to know what the function of that person is going to be in terms of leadership. Yeah? We need to recognize, the thing that I see with people is that a lot of people lack the ability to recognize the ability in people. Think about that. In other words, just imagine, put this in a church context, Charles. So you're the leader of a church, and you have a lot of people in your church, and you're looking for leaders. You need men and women to come through and to share the burden and to operate in the function of a leader. But if you don't recognize people's ability to lead, how will you ever be able to take people who could lead and train them to become better leaders? Yeah? So first of all, you've got the person who's the leader. If you want to find emerging leaders, you need to have the ability to recognize that. Because some people operate in weird functions. They don't always see the potential in themselves. Yeah, they don't always see that what their potential is. So, how do you harness a new leader? I would not wait. I've chatted this through with certain leaders, and they say, well, I wait for people to come to me and ask if they can operate and function in certain capacities. And I don't wait for people to come to me. I go looking for people who are leaders. My wife and I were asked to take on a children's ministry some 15 years ago, and the children's ministry was struggling with the leadership of the children's work and the children. So my wife and I said yes. My wife is far more gifted to work with children than I am, but we agreed to do it as a couple. So what did I do? The first thing I went for was I went on the look to find people who could be leaders of the children's ministry with us. So I went to people. I can remember asking a certain couple, a man and woman, husband and wife, if they would join us in the children's work. And the woman, yes, I will, no problem. The man, a husband, never in a million years, never going to work with children. Don't want to lead anything. I don't want to lead, and I certainly don't want to lead in a children's ministry setting. Now I just laughed to myself and thought, you wait and see. You don't see the potential in yourself. Anyway, his wife joined the team, and we carried on working. And then over the months and months, a husband would come and see what was going on, what's happening. Cut a long story short, after about a year and a half, we handed over the children's ministry to that man and woman, to that husband and wife. He never saw the potential in himself to be the leader of the children's ministry, but I did. And to this day, he still leads the children's ministry all these years later, and he's doing a very, very good job. So just because people don't always see the potential in themselves, a leader will see the potential and try and draw that potential out of that person. That makes sense?
Absolutely.
I saw, and I, not to get a badge of honour here, but I saw potential in you that first time that I met you in Sheffield. Yeah, and again, I'm not saying this to patronise or to get a bonus or anything like that. But I saw the potential in you, and I thought, this man is a man who needs someone to encourage him, someone to work with him, and someone to help draw that potential out of him. Yeah. And from the conversations we've had, you've not always believed in yourself. Is that correct?
Reverend, yes, I do agree. I have a lot of doubts. And, in my growth journey, to becoming better leaders, I read a book by John Maxwell who says sometimes you have a doubt about yourself, even as leaders. Sometimes, even this period of pandemic, there are leaders out there who, are having doubts about what they need to do, in order to contain the problem, the challenges the world is facing right now. But like you said, if someone is able to identify leadership in another person and help the person to discover and to develop and also to deploy such leadership, it's great. And that is one of the reasons why I'm doing this series. The communities where I come from, there are many potential leaders, people who are not living up to their potentials. And whatever God has called everyone to achieve in life, you will find that some people, because of the personal doubts, because of the circumstances, the personal circumstances, and also because of the environment in which they live, they are not able to live up to the potentials in which they have. But by helping out, by not being judgmental, but by appealing, seeing beyond whatever the situation of someone is, and trying to bring out that leadership potentials, you see that new leaders actually do emerge from such situation. And I want to thank you. It's one of the reasons why I really want to thank you, because when we met, you don't actually, I had a lot of doubts. Like you said, you don't see the doubts that I have. You always tell me, oh, I know you have the doubts, but you have this strength, you have this strength, you need to work on yourself and grow so that you can become better. What we have in the world today, is sometimes a kind of a judgmental attitude.
Yeah.
When people see that someone is not speaking the way they expect them to be speaking, then immediately they criticize them. What we need to do is to help people to develop the leadership in them. And according to Dr. Miles Munro, he said leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspiration, motivated by a passion, generated by a vision, produced by a conviction, and ignited by a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes some people do not actually know that they have certain potentials.
Yep.
But until we reach out to them and we help them to discover these potentials, we help them to develop it, and we help them to deploy it without being judgmental, then we can have leaders, more leaders in the world, in their communities, taking actions, making things better in their environment.
100%. No, 100% agree, Charles. We always like to judge other people based on our performance. Yeah? In other words, I'm good at this, you're not good at that, therefore I've succeeded, you failed. And yet, what we really need to do, I've got 4 things written down here. 4 things written down that I will say. But my father, just to mention my dad, who was also called Keith, I heard him speak quite a few times over the years, and the major message that he always used to bring was, we all need to encourage each other. I've never known anybody grow by being discouraged. Which is very simple. It's not deep and profound, but it is profound, because you have a son. When you look at your son, and he's not going to grow as a boy into a young man, to an adult, by you beating him and discouraging him. but he will grow as you encourage him and as you try and help him discover his potential. So, from a father point of view and from a leader, we need to mentor people. We need to. When I came to Ilorin, and I'll just use that because we both know that situation. Charles took me to Ilorin in Nigeria, to the Kwara State, and we did a day in the Kwara State Hotel. Is that correct? Yep.
Yes.
And there were several hundred young people there, and those young people, they were there because they were hungry to learn. Yeah, number one. So when there's people who are hungry to learn, we've got to take those people and mentor them. We've got to mentor them. We've got to train them. We've got to show them how to lead, and then we've got to give them opportunity to lead. So we've got to take people and we've got to mentor them. And when we take young people, some people will be good. They will respond well, and some people won't respond well. But even those people who don't respond well, we've got to still mentor them and encourage them to give them the opportunity to grow. Like you said, some people come from backgrounds where they don't have a privileged start in life, and yet there's other people who do come from a more privileged background. And I don't mean millionaire status. I just mean, there's poor and there's poor. There's like people who just have enough to survive, and then there's people who have nothing. So in some respects, it doesn't matter what our start in life. People are still gifted by God, and we've got to take people and we've got to mentor them. We've got to train them, and we've got to show them how to lead. The biggest thing you can do and I can do is to lead by example. I'm not interested in what you say first. What I'm first interested in is what you do. Your son, at some point when your son does something you don't like, because it will happen. Trust me, it will happen. He's going to watch. He's going to be watching you and following your example. Because we cannot get away with do as I say, but don't do as I do. What we say and what we do has got to equal. It's got to be the same. So as a leader, we've got to do the correct things. You've got to model the type of leader you want your son to be. So we need to take people, mentor them, train them, show them how to lead, and give them opportunities. And I think one of the best ways to do that is by inviting people to what I would call a round table of leadership. A table where we sit around, or a place where we sit around a table and we can discuss leadership. Before this call, Charles and I was talking about different values that people have. Yeah, the different values people have. And you know what? Some people's values aren't good. So we have to mentor them, and we have to train them and educate them and show them what good values are, and then live those values as a leader. So that everybody, and just think of Ilorin, think of the Kwara State as a whole, think of Nigeria, think of the United Kingdom. When we have people who are growing as leaders, how this will change the society that we live in.
Massively. It's going to have like a wildfire effect if we are able to develop as many leaders as possible. People who understand leadership, who can identify their core leadership potentials and are living, in that area of their core competence area, in their core competence area. Now, Reverend, before I invited you to, we invited you to Kwara Youth Summit. Like I said, I come from a low resource background where I don't want to even start describing it. So that we have some of the things here in the UK, and I've seen how the UK is structured, in which we sometimes take for granted, such as the NHS, for instance. We don't have that privilege in Nigeria. But I've always known that we can be better than that. At community levels, everyone can make contributions to better the community into a kind of community of leaders who are living purposefully and trying to help their communities to get better. And so, one of the ways, just like you said, is to have a kind of leadership roundtable in which we engage continuous social dialogue about leadership, and train and mentor people on leadership. You have contributed so much to me and so many other people, so many men of God that God has sent to me to train me on certain areas of leadership. Today we have a team that we work with and that we are developing, some services and products in our local communities that will improve the lives, the dignity, and the prosperity, help people to be more prosperous in the communities. So it's that's why when I identify that leadership as a very important factor, I'm so committed to helping others to discover that path as well. And honestly, I'm probably going to live the rest of my life doing this. It doesn't matter how the start is, but I've identified this path now. Leadership is very important. People cannot rise above the level of their leadership.
Yeah, most definitely. One of the, we need to identify. I think I said this before, but didn't expand on it fully. We need to know what a good leader looks like.
Yes.
So that we can model that, to other people. It's no good just saying you need to grow as a leader, without saying how we need to grow, why we need to grow, and then give people the tools to help them to grow. Some people understand this, some people don't always understand this. Some people, understand that they need to grow. And, to be honest, you look in the world, in the UK, not just in Nigeria, and you talk about growing, personal growth, or you talk about growing as a leader, and some people look at you as though you have three heads. They don't understand the need to grow. Why do I need to grow? I'm happy to do my same job in the same way, with the same problems and the same outcomes every day, day in and day out. And yet, we can live a better life. We can grow as people. I look, just like you, I look back at things that happened 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago and think, if I knew then what I know now, those situations, those outcomes would have been different. But I didn't know. Now, I'm not sitting here to judge myself badly, but what I am saying is I am now committed to growing myself. And that's one of the good, I believe, is a trait of a good leader, is the willingness to keep growing. Yeah, because as John Maxwell will say, you can only take people where you've first been yourself. So if you've not been there, you can't take people. I can't take you to the Himalayas. I've never been. I wouldn't know how to get there. I'd be clueless. But if I wanted to go to the Himalayas, and I would like to go one day, I would find a guide. I'd find somebody who has been there, somebody who's climbed the mountain and knows all the pitfalls, so that he can hold my hand and take me. He's been there first. He knows the mistakes that people make. He knows why people die, and he can help me prevent making the same mistake. So a good leader must always be willing to grow themselves before they start to look to grow other people. Join this, learn, develop, mature as a person, so that we can have a greater impact on other people. And we live in this fastly changing situation because of the virus, where a lot of things have now gone online. But even in the middle of this, a good leader, I believe a good leader always still wants to stay connected to people, because we can only lead people. We can't lead an object. We can't lead, we are here to lead people and to help people become better and develop, and like you say, affect your communities. We've got to be willing to serve people. Being a leader, I see some people around the world Being a leader is all about you serving me, you doing things for me, because I'm in charge, they think. And yet, being a leader is about your willingness not only to grow, but your willingness to serve people and to give to other people. I believe, as you are generous in giving to people, God will always give back to you. We're in the people business. We've got to be willing to listen to people.
Yes.
If we are looking to lead people, we've got to be willing to listen to people, because it gives us understanding of those people, understanding of where they come from. It helps us understand how to learn. It helps us connect with them. So you look at the communities in Nigeria, and it's no good just coming in there thinking we have all the answers, but we need to go there and find out from those people what the issues are, how we can help them, listen to them. Listen to what they say so that we can serve them better.
Yes. Absolutely.
And then the obvious one is to show compassion to these people. So again, I've gone to a lot of places where they say people came in and they listened to what was going on in the community, and they promised all sorts of things, and then they disappeared. A compassionate person won't abandon people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
A compassionate leader will continue to stay with people through good times, through bad times, through growing times, when they're encouraged and when they're sad. We've got to demonstrate compassion to people.
Yes,
compassion to people. I was in Uganda, and I remember the first time I went, and some little children came into the service. There was 800 people, about 800 people there, and as well as the chickens and the goats that came into the service, some little children came in, dressed in nothing. Little children in Uganda. And obviously, you don't see that in the UK. You don't see little children running around the streets with no clothes on. And I looked at that, and I just thought, we've got to do something to help these people. That is one of the most basic needs of life, is for people, especially children, to be clothed.
Yes.
So you can't. And yet I spoke to the leaders there, and they said, oh, many people have promised many things, and then we never hear from them again. If you want to be a good leader, you've got to you've got to grow. You've got to show compassion to those people and stay committed to serve them.
Yes, sir.
And not abandon them. Yeah, that's very important as a leader. And if you want to, and 2 is better than 1. 5 is better than 2. 10 is better than 5. So if you can get people with you on a team to train them to then go into those communities to affect those communities, you'll have a bigger outcome. You'll have a bigger effect on people's lives.
I get that absolutely, Reverend. You mentioned compassion, you mentioned values, and being able to connect with people so that we can continue to build and have a critical mass of the critical mass of that leadership. Leaders that we need to transform the communities. I absolutely agree with you on that. And talking about helping people to grow. Now we need to look at care and candor.
Sorry, care
and candor.
Candor, yeah.
So, because sometimes it is difficult for leaders, potential leaders, to see where they need to be or where they are destined to be. So, it's very important for us to apply both care and candor so that we don't lose them along the way, so that we don't lose them along the way. As we are trying to, because leadership or people are very fragile, are very important. We have to put people at the center of whatever we want to do.
Yep.
Yeah. So if we understand the vulnerability of individuals, then we need to apply that care and candor to take them from where they are presently to where they need to be. So that is what my little contribution also to that. So thank you so very much, Reverend. It's been a wonderful time having a chat with you about leadership today. I don't know if you have any other thing to add.
No, the other thing I'd say, leadership is a vast subject, and even how long we've been on about 40 minutes, and 40 minutes doesn't really even scratch the surface of how to facilitate new leaders, how to find new leaders, how to develop them, and what to do and how to do it. And leadership, it's I think John has written 100-ish, about 100 books on leadership, and he's still writing. So you can see the subject, and then there's many other people and professionals out there who've written on the subject. So leadership is a continually evolving subject, where we continue to learn and grow. My only thing I'd encourage everybody today is, stay committed. Stay committed to invest in your own life. Let me just. This is a quote from John Maxwell, of all people. It's always John that I quote from, but he puts, "There's nothing in this world that gives a greater return on investment to a leader than attracting, developing, and multiplying other leaders." There's nothing in this world that gives a greater return on your investment to a leader than attracting, developing, and multiplying other leaders. For me, the biggest thrill, if I can use the word, is when you see other people succeed. And I'll say this with all honesty: when I see you succeed now, Charles is just finishing his PhD. So when I hear you and see you, and you're finishing your dissertation and your studies, and you're working hard and you're learning, it thrills me, because I think the guy he understands that he's invested in himself, and he's growing and he's fulfilling his potential. So that's great. I just want to keep doing that with people and helping people to continually grow and learn and develop. You know me well enough, Charles, that if you cut me in half, I would still say the same thing.
Yes,
I'll be saying the same thing all the time.
From the time I met you, you have always been about growth, about developing one, trying to develop in myself. So, and thanks to you for that. So we're moving forward, and we will surely get there. Surely get there.
Charles, we'll finish for today. Everybody who's watched, it's been a pleasure. I've seen a few comments coming through on Facebook, and see some of the people who've been watching. So thank you for your time. It'll be on Facebook, so you can watch or re-listen again, and it will be uploaded to the YouTube channel under my name there, just Reverend or Rev Keith Poole, and Charles also will have a copy. So please, go and listen again, and if you need to contact myself, simple email, message me through Facebook, or just email me, keithpoole@sky.com. And then if you want me to help you, or help your organisation with any leadership issues or developing, please feel free, and we can see how I can help you. And Charles also, is available. Message him on Facebook, and see how he can help you also. So, Charles, thank you for your time. I appreciate your willingness to be here with me.
Thank you more, Reverend. I look forward to another time with you, because this is not finished yet. We still have a lot of things to do in a better way, and I really thank everyone who connected to watch us, to listen to this conversation. And so thank you. A little bit today, but it's going to be all right going forward. Thank you very much.
No, it's true. And I believe, when we're on platforms like this, I believe that people have listened, and it's been helpful to some people. And if you can help people, then that's a good thing. So, Charles, thank you so much, and everybody who's watched and listened, appreciate your time this afternoon on a Sunday afternoon. And yeah, hope to do some more of these and speak to you all soon. Bless you, Charles. Thank you, everybody. God bless you all.